Did you ever want to travel through the legends of Norse mythology? Araknie here to show you that you can do this and more in Heimdall. First of all, let's just say that this is an RPG. You might not think that looking at it, but it does a few things that are pretty innovative for the genre, and make the gameplay much more quick and easy to understand than most games from this era. But let's start from the story as usual. Let's not make things confusing. Because the intro is long and big, I'm also going to trim it. There's a lot of funny moments, but basically Thor created humans because he was lonely. We can all understand that. Then he had to create planet Earth because there was no space where to put them all. After that, time passed normally and things formed naturally, until Loki started Ragnarok by stealing 3 objects. So Thor had to do a quick create a human zap on a woman, and so Heimdall was made, somebody that could get back the needed items. Anyway, let's go to where the good part of any worthwhile experience is, the gameplay. I gotta say, I pretty much loved it to begin with. It's structured like this. You gotta explore Midgard, Utgard and Asgard, and go to various islands. You've got food that gets utilized while traveling between them in your ship. But first of all, you'll have to see what kind of man Heimdall is. At the beginning, you gotta do 3 trials. This will influence 2 factors. In premise, you'll get to see what your base stats are. If you do your best, you'll get 50 across the board. I got 50 almost, and 45 on the remaining stat. It's really not that difficult. The other is how many allies you get to choose from. You need to recruit 5 people, and depending on your performance, you will get up to 30 to choose from. I got 28 at the second try, and that was more than enough. It's not that hard. The trials are this if you want to know. Cut the braids of a passing girl while drunk. You might kill her, but that's on you. Grab a boar while running in the mud. Kill a bunch of people that try to board your ship. Really not hard. If you don't believe me, you can check the VOD on my usual channel. I put all the games I play, even the ones that I don't finish, right here. You can't quite miss it. If you have difficulties, get good. Yeah, you have no excuses. This game came with a comic. It's aimed at children, as you can see. It's an RPG that has enough depth that anybody can enjoy it, and it was designed this way on purpose. They also tried to curb the possibility of soft locks by letting you save only when you're on the ship. So you are always exploring around and then deciding what items to keep or store. In fact, only 3 people can descend, the others have to stay and keep watch. That's because their use as storage. Each person can have 12 objects with themselves. The limited inventory might seem like an incredibly narrow option, but this is the most improved version. In the original Amiga version, you could only keep 6 within yourself. When porting this to DOS, the people contracted by Core Design brought over a bunch of improvements, including this. Sometimes Atari ST, FM Towns, or Amiga got the best version of a computer game. Not this time. We are lucky once again, DOS folks. Also, while searching for the best version I could play, I discovered that there was a Sega CD edition and that it had a full soundtrack plus voice acting for certain key moments in the story. Unfortunately, it also controls like complete unregulated ass cheeks, so DOS it is. Mouse and keyboard is much better. It has a fantastic musical intro that you're hearing here on loop, but after that, nothing until the ending. Then you get another melody. So we will not talk further down the line about the music. There's nothing to say about it. Unfortunately for you, my dear Sega CD, you failed us. The next step is the dungeon exploration. Here is where you'll get the most variety you could see in 1991, both visually and in terms of objectives, because surprisingly it wasn't just a bunch of combat, but a bunch of puzzles too, most of them with hints or with infinite retries without penalty. Also traps and hidden locations that you need to discover with your magic, and unless they ambush you, the enemies are always visible on screen. Only if you get close enough they will start an encounter with you. But yeah, I talked about magic, you don't really need to learn it. You need rune lore to use it. Each scroll needs a certain amount. When found, you cast them and then disappear, but there are really an enormous amount of them around. If you explore each place fully, you're gonna always have some healing spell on you. The higher your luck, also you get better drops from enemies, while on the floor and in the chest there are fixed drops that you cannot miss. By the way, the game lets you know that you can read something because it will be written in runes, signifying that your lore stat isn't high enough. Everything, fortunately, goes up each time you level, even if it will take a long time because there are only 8 of them. But when you do, you'll feel the progress. The most unfortunate part of this game, or at least the DOS port, is the loading function, aside from the lack of music, I guess. You can't use the in-game one, it will delete lots of items in the chests, I don't know why. But it's super fast to load, just closing it and reopening it took literal seconds. The advantages of DOS, I guess. But yeah, until the very end, Heimdall will change on you the rules of the dungeons. I found that incredible. I'm not used to computer game with so much variety in the 90s. Ultima Underworld came 1 year later than this, and it had the advantage of being in first person. The amount of objectives and different situations found in this game are staggering. I never grew bored. And the inventory is extremely friendly. You get to examine and a little description for every object. Plus, the only equip you need is your weapon, and that one will tell you how many damage hit points it does. Listen, for the era, this is basically modern to me now. I play so many DOS games at this point, where I don't even know what I'm looking at in my inventory. Getting a description this detailed is basically like playing a current day game for me. Another surprising part is that the battles play in real time, something not expected when you saw the isometric view. You get to go to another screen just for convenience sake of the UI and making it easier for you to battle. But this is a full action RPG. The CPU acts depending on their stats and you have to press the buttons fast enough. Good change of pace from the usual affair. You select the object of your desire and then attack or cast a spell. If you slash with your weapon, you just need to keep pressing the literally named attack prompt. They made this differentiation because the scrolls are single use. On the left you get the enemy's health, and the right you have your parties. It's pretty simple to understand. Even if there is a lot, you get everything you need to know while playing. It's a demonstration of how accessible it is, the fact that the manual is less than 30 pages big. The art style was pretty appealing too. It's all hand-drawn, even the isometric locations. They just use the perspective technique to make places have any 3D effect and mapping to make them walkable. Making art, the best part of when a video game developer tries for real. Colors are amazingly warm and fitting for the type of cartoon vibes they were going for. Location variety shows that they were willing to create an immense world, but of course had to be confined in the space of the floppy disk format. That's why we got this type of dungeons instead. Even if some places have some really impressive rooms, and they don't stop themselves from doing animations and interactions often even outside of combat. With all that said, I will give Heimdall an 8 out of 10. Yes, I know that it sounds like I described a masterpiece, but I can't consider a game without a memorable soundtrack in that category, let alone one that doesn't have almost any at all. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!